up the bass. They love it when I turn up the bass. They love it when I turn up the bass. They love it when I turn up the bass.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are getting ready for some more racing here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we're going to start this a little bit earlier than usual here in qualifying, and we're going to do a little something different tonight. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a couple drivers here, and we're going to do a couple pre-race interviews. First and foremost, I've got the number 52 of Sean Happick in the booth. How you doing tonight? Oh, not a whole lot, man. I figured we'd go ahead and we got 2 races left here in the season before we come to a close. So I figured I'd go ahead and try to get some of you guys in here and see what you guys were thinking ahead of tonight's race. So, Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's a super speedway, if you will. You won Talladega, so you've definitely had some success at the super speedways. You got any specific strategy apart, obviously, other than just survival tonight?
No, no, that's probably it. I'm just gonna try to link up with my teammates best as I can. Hopefully, we'll all stay clean and get to be there at the end. Maybe if we get us some green flag pits, we can all go in together, make up some ground. This one's a little different. Um, I'm not as sure on the steering as I am at the most speedways. This one's a little jerky today. I don't know if it's me or just the track or what, but I'm not. I just don't feel I'm very smooth right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of one thing I was touching on. I think it was a few weeks ago on the podcast, but yeah, I mean, super speedway esque as far as the racecraft, but it still is a mile and a half, so that steering is going to be a little bit tighter. And I would imagine if you're feeling a little bit of floatiness coming from the front end in the corners, I would imagine that's probably what you're feeling. So just know that you're not going to be the only one feeling that tonight. There's going to be a couple guys doing that, and
That's
we'll
what I'm
see.
scared of.
Let's say we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if guys will be able to maintain and hold. While I got you here really quick, you mentioned potentially some pit stops. What is the fuel looking like tonight?
Oh, why am I here in the pits here? That ain't right, is it? Let me see. I don't know if that's right. It says 32.6. That can't be right at 60%. Oh, yeah, no, that probably is right because Charlotte's about the same at 60%. So, yeah, it's about 32.6 as I sit here in the pits.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see how that plays factor here tonight. I appreciate you for hopping on in here, man. I'll let you go ahead and get back to your team, and good luck, and we'll see if we'll hear from you again.
All right.
I'll let you say thank you because I accidentally accidentally let go of the button a little too early, so my
No,
apologies.
no, I was just saying thank you. I enjoy it. Hopefully, you get some good interviews with those other guys, and hopefully, we'll get to talk to you a little bit later.
Yes, sir. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, and we'll grab our next driver for a little pre-race interview. We've got the number 53, Mr. Chris. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing pretty good, man. I wanted to grab a couple guys here before we got going along with the race. We've heard your teammate, the number 9, talk about how much he loves the super speedway racing. Is that something that's translated over to you as well?
Yeah, it has. I'm not necessarily a diehard fan of them as he is, but I am comfortable. Of course, this track's a little bit different than the other two. But I think the key is just being conservative to a point, keep up with the lead pack, and just try and avoid getting yourself into bad situations that you should be able to avoid.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, I don't expect you to give up too much, but I know you and all your other teammates have put a pretty big emphasis on practice throughout the season. So, do you guys got some strategy cooked up here for the super speedway, or is the main goal just to be there at the end when it matters?
Yeah, we've got a little bit of strategy. Not going into it too deep, but yeah, the goal is always to be there at the end, and we kind of got a good feel for where we all feel the most comfortable as far as pushing and being the pusher, and just getting things lined up. And it's definitely something that you got to get into a rhythm with a teammate and understand their drive line and not get off center too much. You can get away with it a little bit more here than you can the other super speedways, but other than that, that's what we're pretty much shooting for tonight. Is just getting ourselves into a position at the end to really go after it.
Gotcha, man. Well, good luck to you. We'll see if we'll see you again here later on in the race, man.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, we'll try to grab one more driver here. Let's grab the number 1 of Bobby Grady. Hey, Bobby, this is Bryce up here in the booth, man. You got a copy on me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, well, I wanted to grab a few people here before we got going and getting into qualifying. Atlanta Motor Speedway, you know, obviously it's got a super speedway-ish type feel. So, I mean, how are you feeling about tonight's race? Do you feel like you got, you know, a decent strategy, or you just trying to survive out there tonight?
Boy, it's all survival with me, but I've never raced there before, but it's fast. Definitely the draft is going to matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard a couple people so far kind of mention the handling of the truck. You know, obviously, again, it is a mile and a half. Not quite the super speedway as Daytona or Talladega, but you know, how much do you think handling is going to end up playing a factor tonight, especially if we do get a late run in the draft?
Yeah, I know out there just testing. Again, I haven't raced here. It's jumping around quite a bit and trying to stay behind someone, but I'm sure the tires are going to play into that too. So we'll see.
Gotcha, man. Well, I just wanted to grab a couple people before we got started. Good luck to you, man. And I forget already, who were you down there with in the call?
But
Was it with Bryce, right?
Tucker. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Bryce Tucker.
All right, man. Well, good luck to you. I'll get you back over to him, man.
Thanks, sir.
Alrighty, and last but certainly not least, want to grab the man of the hour, the number 31 of Matthew Chase. We got a minute left here before you get into. That's right. You got that shiny new truck. You got the voice of an angel. So I figured we'd go ahead and get you in here last, man. How are you feeling about tonight's race?
Drafting is going to be interesting. Tight quarters here. Running some laps here with Happy behind me. He's gotten me up to my fastest lap so far. But I've been running with Mike and Chris a lot of the practice session here. It seems like we're going to have a good run tonight. I think this is an opportunity to win. Super speedways are always in the wheelhouse for me. Hopefully we can get it done here, get a shell shocker win for either myself or Zach. So that's the hope anyway.
Gotcha, man. Well, yeah, I would just want to say good luck to you. Again, survival is the name of the game. And really quick before we get going into it, you think handling is going to be a factor here tonight?
Absolutely. In the pack, I mean, I'm watching the truck in front of me drift up a lot. It almost feels like the air getting underneath the nose of the truck, and the truck just likes to drift up. So that's going to be something to watch out for from the drivers tonight.
Gotcha. Well, see, as you're getting wrecked there, man, I'll go ahead and I'll get you back down to your teammate. Good luck with qualifying and good luck with the race.
Thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, well, that ended up working out pretty well. Again, just wanted to grab a couple guys here before we did get moving on with the race. Got to speak to Sean Happick, Chris Weiniger, Bobby Grady, and then, of course, Matthew Chase. So we will see who elects to hop out here on the track first. Qualifying, I do believe, I should have confirmed this with Happy, and I totally slipped my mind, but I do believe that drivers will be able to cut the dog leg in qualifying. I don't know that that will be applicable for the race, but let me find out. Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, it looks like the tri-oval is going to be open tonight for qualifying and for the race. So, definitely will be interesting when it comes down to it. But it looks like Travis George is out there on track. We'll take a look and kind of see how his run's going to be going here. All right, now I see a couple guys getting their times in. Danny Gross takes the pole for now. Let's see. George is going to end up in P6. Try to spread the wealth here. Danny Gross, like I said, though, on top with a 31.9 so far. We'll see if that does end up changing. Kean Fry takes the top spot there shortly after. And then as soon as I say that, the 84 Patrick Camburn gets up there with Dustin Bloodworth in P2. Chris Weiniger takes his top spot. A lot of movement. This is going to be a lot to keep up with. So it looks like that was KT's out lap. We've already stayed this far with him, so we'll go ahead and stay on board with him. KT's had some pretty decent success at the super speedways, barring a little bit of bad luck from him, but I know he's pushed me to a win before. I know he's capable of doing it again. Zachary Tyler, he was talking behind the scenes about how excited he was to be able to actually qualify. So far, he's proven that to be decent. See, KT puts himself up there in P7. Looks like this is Sean Happick's flying lap. Tried to grab it. It was a little late, but he jumps up to P10. I am getting word that the race actually you will not be able to go below the red line. But it looks like that's pretty much most of our drivers that have qualified, that are eligible to qualify, excuse me. So we will go ahead and throw this up really quick, and we will see you guys here. We're going to go ahead and get the drivers meeting taken care of, and we will be back here shortly. Give us just a couple minutes. Thanks. And alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we will get on with it. First and foremost, before we do, let's go ahead and look at some of our race information. Again, this is round 19 here. This race and one more race to decide who is going to be the overall winner of the season. We've got 95 laps here tonight. Stages are going to be at 23 and 47. 3 tire sets as usual behind the pits, as well as the set that you do start the race on. We will go ahead now and go ahead with our starting grid. Starting in P1, we've got the number 29 of Zachary Tyler with Chris Weiniger on his outside. In P2, pretty good first row there. Starting in row number 2, we've got Patrick Camburn, the number 84, with Travis George on his outside, followed by the number 4 of Dustin Bloodworth and Ryan Seabolt rounding out your top 6 spots. In P7, we've got the number 27 of Kyle Rogers, followed by Danny Gross to his outside in the 4th row. And rounding out the top 10 in qualifying here tonight, we've got the number 95 in P9 with KT McCann, followed by Mike Kufel on his outside in the top 10. In row number 11, we've got Brandon Dayhoff and Bryce Tucker. And in P13, we've got the number 45 of Corey Moore with Hunter Jock on his outside as well in row number 7. Running out row number 8, we've got a pair of HVRL admins, if you will. We've got the number 52 of Sean Happick and the 31 of Matthew Chase. We heard Matthew saying that those two are working together in practice. We'll see if they can't get linked up and try to make a ride to the front, and see if maybe the number 14 of Kean Fry or the 93 of Thomas Long can hop up on that train and ride along with them. Rounding out the top 20, we've got the number 1 of Bobby Grady and the number 19 of Andre Carvalho. John Shields, Justin Nava rounding out row number 11. And your final row of the grid tonight, we've got the number 30 of Aaron Creighton and the number 11 of Frank Zimmel. So that's going to be rounding out your field tonight. 24 trucks on track, ready to go around for 95 laps here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Again, it's going to be fast. It's going to be tight. Super Speedway style racing. You either love it or you hate it. Well, we'll find out who loves it and who hates it. Looks like these drivers should be wrapping up with their drivers meeting here shortly. And we will get rocking and rolling. Looking forward to it tonight. You know, if anybody that is a part of the High Velocity Racing Network and you've watched the podcast or anything like that, you know how much I personally love this style of racing. So we'll see if I will love it just as much up in the booth, trying to call the action just as much as being out there on track. Of course, I wish I could be out there, but nonetheless. And I want to go ahead and take this time to thank Growmasters for hopping on board with us for our truck series. Growmasters is an attractant with 30 different vitamins and minerals, as well as an all-natural organic dewormer. Unlike many other brands, Growmasters has a large ratio of healthy and beneficial ingredients for deer and a lower amount of salt. With 2 irresistible flavors of red apple and persimmon, Growmasters will bring the deer in and help them feel better. Deer feels better, he eats more, and he grows more, meaning a bigger rack to hang up on that wall. Feed those deer Growmasters 365 days a year for that trophy deer that you've been dreaming about. For more information, you can head to their website at www.hhwildlifeproducts.com to get your feed today. Again, thank you to Growmasters for hopping on board with us. We greatly appreciate it. But here we go. We'll see these trucks going to be coming around off of turn 3. Pace car going to be diving off here into the pits, excuse me. And there he goes. We are ready to go ahead and get underway here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Green flag is in the air. Looks like the field kind of stacked up there just a little bit. We'll see the front 4 are all linked up, but the rows behind them are a little disconnected, so we'll see if that'll generate any momentum. It looks like for the most part, though, everybody holding their own. These top 2 trucks, Zachary Tyler and Patrick Camburn, getting lined up already. Patrick Camburn, though, actually making a move to the outside. That top line looks a little bit more organized. Danny Gross into the wall. Mike Kufel into the wall, hard into the outside wall. collecting Bryce Tucker. Oh, Frank Zimmel involved. Looks like Aaron Creighton, maybe the 93 of Thomas Long. We kind of caught that happening. I'm not exactly sure what really kicked all that off, though. We will go back on board with Mike and try to see a little bit of movement in that top line. Oh, Danny Gross kind of gets into the wall, and I don't know if Mike checked up a little too hard, or I don't know if there was, you know, some net code involved with that hit. I'm not really sure, because, yeah, Mike just kind of stops and his truck just points hard left. It's, I don't know, again, if there was a little bit of weird net code when Gross brushed the wall or not, but nonetheless, our first caution comes out before we even get to the start-finish line, and I believe that's going to be a fast repair for Mike Kufel, and more than likely Bryce Tucker as well. That's something you would have liked to have been able to hold on to, especially this early on in the race. So Mike is going to have to play his cards a little differently now, be a little bit on the safe side. But that's our first caution of the night. And again, all before we conclude lap 1. Hopefully that is not going to be a trend here for tonight. Got some talented drivers though. Looks like Patrick Camber unable to come up 2 spots and make himself up there into the front row. Decent amount of movement with a lot of guys already. Again, these super speedways, you know, the lines kind of dictate who has the momentum and who moves forward and who doesn't. So a little bit of movement so far. Again, we've only done 3/4 of a green flag lap, so there's still plenty of time for things to change. Should be lining them up to go green this time by. While we do that, give me just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and get it on now. I am 2 topped off on Sunoco Raceful, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to go empty the tank. Give me just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. We are back. So we will be taking the green flag here on lap number 5. Nothing too egregious there, but we'll see if these guys can get her settled down and get into a little bit of a rhythm here for some green flag racing. Pace car going to be making that coveted left turn down to the pit road. We'll see how these drivers do on this second restart. Looks like we had a little bit of a stack up there up front, but everybody keeps it going. Top 5 trucks already single file. So we should see, with this amount of separation here with these front 3 trucks, we should see a little bit of run coming out of the number 29 of Zachary Tyler. And excuse me for just a moment. There we go. Camera angle was a little funky on the volume, but looks like right now we got a lot of bottom feeders. Everybody just hanging out here on the bottom. Thomas Long and Bryce Tucker maybe still have a little bit of damage, trying to save that faster pair. Matthew Chase making a huge run down the backstretch, trying to gain a couple spots here. It looks like he might have a little bit of help in the number 64 of Hunter Jock. Again, that bottom line looking strong though right now. KT McCann though doing a good job of holding on to it. It's a good opportunity here for a guy like Matthew Chase to try to pick up some spots here again with that run he can get on the high line. We'll see if one of these guys will elect to try to get down in line. KT now maybe starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the 29. Matthew Chase drifting up just a little bit into the outside wall. Doesn't make contact with it though. That high line starting to form. You see how risky it gets in the quad oval. It looks like 30 of Aaron Creighton was a little loose back there. Holds on to it. A little bit of side draft coming out of KT. Bottom line starting to check up just a little bit. Matthew Chase almost going to be able to fit that gap. Not quite though. He's definitely clear if he wants to hop down to the bottom. It's going to be tight now. Kyle Rogers taking the shorter way around on the bottom. So that bottom line's starting to come now. Still though, Matthew Chase trying to fight to get to the rear bumper of KT McCann. Just not quite able to get it there though. Zachary Tyler and KT doing a good job of pinching the bottom line down though. Chase starting to finally creep up there to the rear bumper of KT. Looks like Ryan Seabolt maybe got a little bit loose on corner exit. And there we go. These lines are stacked up now. So we'll see who can keep it tight. The tighter the line, the more momentum these guys can gather off the corner. Typically what you'll see here on these super speedways is the bottom line has the shorter way around, so they'll gain in the corner, but usually the outside line will get a run. And I don't know if we have an issue there, potential penalty for Sean Happick. Try to see if we can find out there. He's going to go a lap down. Probably lose the draft. He might try to hang on to it. Anyway, the racing getting good though. The 84 poking out, the 29 poking out as well. Camburn led the last lap. We'll see who can get this lap. It's going to be close. Looks like Zachary Tyler able to lead that lap. Travis George getting a little loose into the quad oval. Top line starting to break up a little bit again as well as the bottom line. Bottom line though looking to get a little bit more organized and try to hold that momentum down. Matthew Chase up into the wall. Bobby Grady's gonna not check up for him. Gonna take the middle. We're gonna be 3 wide in the quad oval. A little bit of door banging. Chase may have scuffed the wall just briefly again in the quad oval. So that's really gonna kill the momentum on the outside line though. And you can see it there. Zachary Tyler and KT kind of falling back to the end of this train here. Bottom line staying strong though, but KT giving a huge shove to Zachary Tyler down the backstretch. We will see how long they can hold on to it here. You see things kind of getting spread out here in the middle of the pack. Ooh, a little loose there for Hunter Jock. Goes just below the line. Does a good job hanging on to it though. See Justin Alva kind of just hanging out here. And Chris Weiniger and Patrick Camburn have now cleared the top row. Oh yeah, I wonder what happened there with Happy. He scored 7 laps down there. Frank Zimmel up into the wall. Try to see if we can find out with Sean Happick, see what happened with him. Oh, a little bit of contact up front. 3 wide. Zachary Tyler into the wall. Dustin Bloodworth into the wall. Nowhere to go for Ryan Seabolt. We got trucks flying everywhere. Matthew Chase involved. Another decent sized wreck here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I know that Dustin Bloodworth was involved in some way, shape, or form. Let's see a little bit of damage on his truck. Take you back and try to see if we can find out where this thing starts at. You see Dustin Bloodworth and KT making some steam here on the backstretch. Chris gets a little loose. Oh, Travis George just shoves Zachary Tyler up into the track, and everybody just kind of runs out of room. Yeah, try to look at the steering here. Yeah, Travis George just loses the nose. Zachary Tyler has to move up, gets into the wall, and the change of speed there just nowhere for a lot of those guys to go. Let's hop on board with Chase here. It looks like he ends up not too bent up out of shape. A little bit of damage on the right rear. Nothing he shouldn't be able to get fixed. Yeah, decent sized contact there with the number 4. Yeah, so Travis George just doesn't hold his line on the bottom, and that's kind of what we talked about. I know I can't remember who exactly mentioned it there, or who I was talking about it with in the pre-race interviews, but we talked about that some guys are going to be losing that nose, and we see an instance of it there, and really quick. Hey, Sean, this is Bryce up here again. I just wanted to ask, man, I noticed you're 7 laps down. Everything all right over there?
Oh, yeah, you know that Texas spring, summertime weather, man. I just, big old boom and my power went out.
Oh, man, gotcha. Well, at this
Yeah,
rate,
so-
you might have a chance to make up some
No.
laps back.
I think I'm going to stay out here and try to help some of my teammates maybe win. That's about all I can hope for. Maybe I'll get back on the lap, but we'll see.
Gotcha. Well, sorry to hear that, man. I just wanted to check in with you. And good job avoiding that wreck out there, and we'll see you out there.
All right, appreciate it.
So unfortunately, a little bit of misfortune there for our overall points leader, the number 52 of Sean Happick. But yeah, I definitely feel him here in Tennessee. It's getting to that time of year where tornadoes are plenty. Big shout out to all the families that have been affected by the tornadoes here as well the last couple days. You know, haven't read too much on it, but I've seen some pictures here and there, and it looked like a nasty one. And again, it's getting to that time of the year, so hope everybody stays safe and is able to manage it. And we'll have about a 6 or 7 lap dash here once we cross the line again to the first stage. So that's going to be a reality check there for a couple guys. You know, again, I know there's a few people that disagreed with me, but yeah, I've experienced it firsthand here. You know, not just in the trucks, but in the cup cars as well. Getting into those tight corners like that, it's very easy to lose the nose, and you saw it there with Travis George. Loses the nose a little bit in the corner. Nowhere for Zachary Tyler to go, and I'm not going to say that's the big one, but definitely a big one there. But we are about to go green flag racing here once again. Green flag out in the air. Cameron gets a really big jump. That could actually end up hurting him here. I do believe he has some help up front, but yeah, it looks like he's able to get in line here. Those top 3 trucks have been stout here so far. Big bump there you see from the 53 of Chris. Hunter Jock and Justin Nava makes his way up to P5. He's up 17 spots from where he started. They might have a little bit of run here on this front 3 pack here. We'll see if they elect to take it. Nava shows the nose that he wanted to go for it, but it looks like Hunter right now is content with staying in line. That top line, though, is rolling with Kyle Rogers and KT McCann leading that charge. Kyle Rogers making a huge run on the outside. KT doing a great job shoving him here on the outside line. Kyle Rogers able to get to the outside of Travis George. See if they can carry that forward momentum. Hop on board with KT McCann. See what it looks like here from the cockpit from his ride. You can see Kyle Rogers going to get pushed to the lead. And you hear just a slight check up in the corner. Help get the nose planted and make sure he's not riding the bumper the whole way around. And you'll see, look, you can see just how much momentum the bottom gains in the middle of the corner. But look at here on the exit, a little bit of checkup, but that outside line, later on in the race, you can see here they got about a truck length in between these two lines. But as we come to the conclusion of the stages and as we come to the conclusion of the race, that gap in the middle of the track is going to end up being a lot tighter. Under Jock following behind Justin Nava right now as well. Coming up to 2 to go here in stage number 1. A little tight there. You see he gets out of the gas. And it looks like we do have a caution flag out in the air. And maybe I'm incorrect. That may have actually... Yes, so I do apologize. That actually was the conclusion of the stage right there. Well, it looks like Patrick Camburn gonna walk away here with the stage win in stage number 1. K&W working well up front together. They've got, top 3 spots locked down. Kyle Rogers does edge out Travis George there, technically, on the conclusion of the stage. So looking here at the scoring chart, your top 10 in stage number 1 are going to be as follows: Patrick Camburn, Chris Weiniger, Kyle Rogers, Travis George, KT McCann, Justin Nava, Bobby Grady, Hunter Jock. Bryce Tucker comes back with some stage points after that first caution. And Corey Moore rounding out the top 10. Guys gonna be making their pit stops now. You saw Sean Happick pit on that last stop, yeah, he did pit, and I believe it was potentially the 11 of Frank Zimmel went with him. I'm not sure. So they'll try to take the wave around here and try to get one of those laps back. See if we can't grab your stage 1 winner. Hey, Patrick, this is Bryce up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Bryce.
Hey, man. Well, congratulations there on the stage victory. You and your teammates are working well up front together. I know you guys put a lot of practice in for these races, and you got a lot of guys on there that are really, really in love with the Super Speedway platform. So how does it feel to be able to work well together as a team and get that stage victory?
Oh, it feels really good to work well. It's nice to have guys up front with me that I can trust. Guess we'll kind of see how the next few stages go and see if we can actually hang on for one this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you got to the front out there and were able to pretty much maintain being the lead car. But, I mean, how important is that clean air out there? We actually saw it with your teammate Travis George kind of loses the nose a little bit there and gets into Zachary Tyler. How important is handling out there?
Oh, it's incredibly important. Really grateful I got to run that first stage in clean air. Looks like I'm going to be back in traffic for this second stage. Kind of see how it goes. That dirty air hurts the truck a ton.
Gotcha. Yeah, we've definitely seen a little bit of that here, but I see the lights are off on the pace car, man. Good. Congrats on your stage 1 victory. Good luck to you here for the end of the race, and we'll see if we talk to you again.
All right, thank you.
Yep. There you go. That was your stage winner, the 84, Patrick Camburn. able to come away with the stage victory. And yeah, I mean, he pretty much was at the point of the field the whole race. Truck going to be in a little bit of dirty air now. So potential issues there with the grid. Lights come back out on the pace car, so they should be coming out this time by. I see a couple guys getting lined up here. I don't know if we had some wave rounds that weren't handed out, or not exactly sure what's happening there. Do know that Atlanta is a little bit tricky, again, with the pit entry and how things work here. We've had some experience with issues there. Excuse me, sorry about that. I had to sneeze there. Yeah, so it looks like we're getting some gridding issues sorted out here. Do apologize for the delay in racing. Trying to get everything lined up, and it does look like they will actually get cycled back to the lead. Should be ready to rock and roll this time by, though. Officially. Yeah, lights are off on the pace car, so we'll see if we can get ready to rock and roll. And pace car officially does come off this time by. Green flag in the air. There we go. We see these front three trucks getting lined up and making a move. But now the bottom line here, the 00, Ryan Seabolt on the outside, Bobby Grady in the number 1 truck making a move here on the outside, trying to gain some momentum. And it looks like we've got a caution out once again. Looks like the number 29 of Zachary Tyler getting plagued with some trouble here once again. Hop on board with him and see what happens here. Oh, Andre clips the outside wall. Comes down. That's twice now. Zachary Tyler just unfortunately in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And I don't know what his monitor situation looks like, but no warning from him at all. Minding his business, and it gets collected, almost blows over. Some pretty good damage there on the front of the truck. Might be okay though. I mean, his front nose is a little caved in. He'll be fine in the draft. See if he can try to get those damages repaired. Yeah, and you see he's going to go ahead and take his medicine, elect to go down pit road. Sean Happick scored 6 laps down. He was able to get one of those laps back. Some contact under yellow. Everybody's stacking up there on the bottom. See Andre making his way down pit road this time by. So K&W doing a great job right now of leading this field around Atlanta Motor Speedway. This goes to show you how important teamwork is here at these super speedway races. So, you know, some guys, even if you're not formally on a team, might have to try working together here to make a move, because they have had control of this race. Again, we saw Mike unfortunately get caught up in that incident early on. But he's already back up to 7th. And here we go. We see everybody going 2 by 2. Well, that means racing is about to pick up here once again. I really want to highlight this front row on this restart. Again, I know I sound like a broken record here, but teammates, let's see if this restart is going to be timed. They've been getting a very, very big jump on the initial restart, but nobody's really made them pay the price for it quite yet. They're able to maintain and work together to hold position out front. All right, coming into turn 4 now. Again, let's keep an eye on these. Looking at the front 3 trucks here. So the 2 in the front row and the number 84 on the bottom of Patrick Camburn. Let's see just how big of a jump they can get on the rest of the field here. Try to time these restarts together. And there you go. Travis George doesn't get that good of a start on the outside, but you can see those bottom 2 trucks there getting a very good jump there on the inside. A little bit of movement out back to number 4, Dustin Bloodworth. Contact with the inside wall. Stay green as of now. A little bit of movement there in the quad oval. KT kind of out there on an island right there on the outside line. He's got no help anywhere in sight. He's definitely going to need a truck to pop up. You can see he's holding them tight though down on the bottom, but this is a scary sight for the rest of the field. We've got 4 K&W teammates lined up, 4 in a row on the bottom. Again, some guys are really going to have to start relying on some unofficial help here and try to get something together. We got a couple guys looking to make a move on the outside. The conclusion of stage 2 is approaching very quickly. We'll take this time, do a little bit of crank it up. There was your crank it up. Got 2 to go here in stage number 2. You saw how aggressive Camburn was with the pushes on the back of the 53 of Chris Weiniger. We see it here again on the backstretch. You can see how hooked up those trucks are together, really making it difficult for that outside line. You see KT trying to squeeze him down. It's going to compromise that run a little bit, but they're definitely going to need some help from Grady and Tucker if they're going to want to maintain the momentum that the bottom line has here. White flag here in stage number 2. We got a little bit of lap traffic coming up ahead as well. You see Chris and Patrick having to hop up. Looks like everybody else able to make it through. KT getting to the quarter panel of Patrick Camburn, trying to get that side draft. Again, just not a lot of help here, not a lot of momentum in that top line. I believe this, the end of this lap will be the conclusion. There may have also been a call to extend the stage here, so maybe to 45. I don't have that information, but that seems like a possibility here. We'll keep our eyes up front here for now until we come to the conclusion of the stage. See Dustin Bloodworth getting out of the way, letting these guys duke it out. KT doing the best he can to try to pinch down the number 84, but again, that top line just not providing the help that he needs to carry the run. Contact, Patrick Camburn goes up across the track in front of the nose. That's going to be the big one. Matthew Chase involved, Ryan Seabolt, Danny Gross. Kyle Rogers involved. You see KT getting the run here off the exit. Not pinching him down too hard. Still a decent amount of room. Oh yeah, Camburn. I don't know if he's trying to creep up for air or what exactly happens here. You can see KT kind of riding this line here. And you'll see the 84 pointed at the wall. Just comes up across the nose of KT McCann. Nowhere for KT to go. And we were coming close to the conclusion of the end of the stage. Danny Gross gets into the back of him. Mike involved in another incident. Looks like Bobby Grady going down low to avoid it. Contact with Grady. Looks like a little bit of netcode. He should be okay. Matthew Chase gets rear-ended by the 64. Danny Gross into the inside wall. Seabolt makes contact with KT. Rogers just barely gets collected. The 51 of Brandon Dayhoff barely squeaks by. Yeah, see Bobby Grady down there up on the apron, so it looks like he was able to continue moving forward. That's a hard hit, though, for the 95 of KT McCann. Another hard hit. So some issues for some more guys here at the conclusion of the second stage. Now we see these guys moving around on the bottom. See Sean Happy's going to elect to take that wave around, excuse me. I'm curious to see how race control handles that. I know with Atlanta and how the pit road is, I know those guys with the wave around makes it a little bit more interesting for those guys to pit. But we'll see if that'll affect Sean Happy in any way. So I believe this will put him 5 laps down. Currently scored 6. Looks like some fuel only for a couple of these guys, trying to gain a little bit of track position. Travis George looks like he's going to beat his teammate out into the pits, and as we're mentioning it, go ahead and grab Chris up here into the booth. Hey, Chris, Bryce up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I do. How you guys doing up there?
Oh, you guys, just me, is doing great up here. A lot of action up there in the booth tonight. I've been talking about it here. I mean, you guys are really hooked up there on the bottom. The KNW guys, as we kind of alluded to a little bit earlier on, you guys have had control of pretty much the whole race. So, you know, good job on you guys for being able to handle that. How different is Clean Air apart from being in the draft?
It's a huge part. Even when I was just pushing and in second place, just one row behind, yeah, I was getting loose. So, yeah, it's huge for the having that Clean Air. But no, we are taking the green.
Yes, we are. I was a little surprised by that. I will get you back down there.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Our interview cut a little bit short there. I didn't realize that we were going green. I was on board with Chris, and they were still single file. Potentially usually some drop to the tail end of the longest line penalties usually cause that. Congrats to Chris on getting that victory there. So front row looking a little different than it was before. Looks like we kind of have a slight breakaway already. Some single file cars back here in line. Bobby Grady leading the charge in 11th. So the top 10 trucks have kind of broken away from the rest of the pack. If they get to racing side by side, that should bring that second back to them, though. And again, Bobby Grady leading that charge. Contact in the second row. A little bit of door banging. Hunter Jock and Patrick Camburn. Hunter Jock makes the move to the outside of KT McCann. KT, though, going to get help before Hunter does. Number 98 of John Shields going to come to the aid of KT McCann. Camburn actually going to leave out Hunter Jock as well. Jock says, no thank you. Not getting any help there from Patrick. Patrick maybe trying to repay him for that door bang there. Doesn't want to extend the olive branch, so that's going to knock Hunter Jock down a couple spots. Yeah, this guy's riding single file, trying to make up time. Switch to the tower and keep an eye on Bobby Grady. So he's scored about 2.5 seconds back to the leader of this pack. So if he can get another second or two and these guys continue to race side by side like this, they might be able to get their way back to it. Yeah, Hunter Jock squeezing him tight there on the outside. You can see that gap has gone down 0.6 this lap to the leader already. A little bit of movement. Everybody holds on to it. Looks like Patrick Camburn trying to find an opening. He wants to take control of this race here once again. Take this time as well to shout out everybody in chat, rooting on their drivers and their teammates. Greatly appreciate it. Matthew Chase looking now to make a charge on the outside. That gap now to a second. So this second group of trucks is here. They're going to be coming with a bunch of momentum. We'll see what they elect to do with it. Yeah, you see there's 3 trucks now potentially looking to get in line. Got Chris and Mike up on the high line, going to get in tow of Matthew Chase. So far, bottom line has kind of been the more dominant line. Guys up top are having a little bit of issues keeping everything calm, cool, and collected. As I say that, you see Bryce Tucker dive below the line there. Looks like he may have had to check up and upsettle the truck, but yeah, that top line is rolling on corner exit, just not able to make it happen. John Shields hopping out of line. Looks like he might be going down pit road, potentially an issue for him. All right, so you see this pack starting to get tighter and tighter with one another. See all the movement here from these drivers in the quad oval. Everybody trying to get some clean air on their nose. Line now looks like they've gotten a little bit more organized now. The bottom line gets disorganized. Andre gonna try to squeeze back and get that spot back. He does. That's gonna stack up that bottom line for just a moment. We'll see if Hunter Jock is gonna be able to clear down. Not quite, almost there, but not quite there. See the 5 of Danny Gross. Sean Happig going down pit road. Again, I wonder if that's due to those wave rounds not being able to make it back around to pit road. Ooh, Frank Zimmel getting a little loose in the quad oval, stays off the wall. KT McCann taking point with Andre Carvalho just behind. Big shot from Patrick Camburn to Andre. It's going to shove Andre below the line. He's going to try to work his way back up on the track, but again, that's going to kill the line, the momentum in the bottom line, excuse me. It's going to be a good time for this top line to try to pounce. See if they can get clear. Hunter Jock is clear. Brandon Dayhoff looking for it, not quite there. It's like Hunter Jock gonna elect to stay on the bottom. I definitely would have hopped down and try to see if maybe he's got some teammates there. And not any teamwork that I'm seeing, not official team members anyway, with Hunter Jock and Dayhoff. So interesting decision there to not take that. Is now you can see how much of a gap that bottom line able to create. Patrick Camburn pushing hard to KT. He's got his teammates behind him, but I have a feeling that Patrick Camburn is not going to be content sitting behind KT here. Coming to lap 62 now. One out into the outside wall, excuse me, that's Hunter Jock. And there we go. As I just said it, Patrick Camburn not content sitting behind our race leader, former race leader. Those KW guys getting linked up, and they're going to go nose to tail. Chris and Patrick able to clear KT. And Mike Kufel stuck out there on an island, but he's got his teammate behind him, Travis George. So we'll see if those two can work together. And KT hard into the outside wall, trying to block the run. Travis George hard in contact. KT McCann almost on his hood. Wow. I am glad that I did not say that that previous accident before was the big one, because this one definitely outshined that one. And I believe I have an idea of what happened here. KT is not dumb. He knows what's going on here. He knows the game's being played with the teammates here. So it looks like KT goes to the outside. Oh, he just kind of gets loose. I thought he may have had a little bit of help, but no, he just kind of forgets there's a corner there or gets loose. I'm not exactly sure. Quad oval definitely tightens up here. I've come close to making that move myself. Corner just tightens up more than he thinks, and I want to look at that though. That's kind of weird what happens here with Travis George and Rogers here. I mean, Travis George does the same thing, makes contact with the wall. Brandon Dayhoff maybe checks up. He gets hooked by Matthew Chase, and Travis George just goes from the outside all the way down to the yellow line, and Kyle Rogers is there. I mean, arguably you could say that Kyle Rogers was below the line, but yeah, Travis George just, I mean, goes literally from the top of the track to the bottom, collects Kyle Rogers. Huge impact for those drivers. See KT's rear end getting lifted up off the ground. Travis George again in it. Kean Fry gets collected. Justin Nava getting contact with Bryce Tucker. We saw Matthew Chase get involved. Looks like Frank Zimmel involved. Bryce Tucker. So a lot of trucks involved in that one. I think it's almost easier to say who wasn't involved in that one. And now that's going to put us pretty close to this fuel window as well. But we'll see if anybody has their night officially ended. Again, a couple guys that had some contact earlier on in the race. Looks like Danny Gross is out. A lot of things getting shaken up here with that caution. Alrighty, lights off on the pace car. We'll be going green this time by lap 67 once we get to the line. It's gonna put us just inside 30 to go when we take the green flag. A little bit of wheel spin there from Chris Weiniger. No harm, no foul, though. You can see already Camburn and Nava get to the bottom as quick as they can. Matthew Chase getting close to that wall on the outside. This truck's looking to come with a head of steam on our race leaders here. A little bit of movement there between teammates up front. They keep it collected. See Mike Kufel getting a little loose on the bottom as well. You can see Matthew Chase has a bit of a run getting to Bobby Grady. Not going to be able to do anything with it here on the backstretch, though. Just, I mentioned it earlier, but top line just really not able to get anything going in this race at all. I'm a little surprised by that. And maybe some guys are trying to save it for the end of the race, but bottom line really proven to be the preferred line here. At least up to this point. A little bit of movement. You can see we've seen the bottom line have moments where they get broken up, but top line just not able to capitalize it. And as I say that, though, Bobby Grady getting a huge surge down the backstretch. Does he take it? He does. Matthew Chase trying to side draft. You see Mike Kufel going to get to the rear bumper of Matthew Chase. He's got his teammates all in front of him. Mike Kufel does. And I'm sure Chase is aware of that, so he's going to try to make a move here. Got a little bit of a mutual agreement for now between these two, but as soon as Mike gets the chance to get hooked up with his teammates, I am certain that is where he is going to go. Bobby Grady to the race lead. Oh, see now, Patrick Camburn loses the nose in the quad oval. Justin Nava says, thank you for the position. So Nava's worked his way up. He's up 19 spots, and Bobby Grady is up 18 from where they started. Top line getting a little bit of a run here now, though. Matthew Chase doing a great job pushing Patrick Camburn out there. And as I say that, gets loose into the outside wall. Tight quarters racing. They keep it clear. He's going to clear himself back down in front of Mike Kufel. So, yellow flag out in the air. I'm trying to take a look and see what happened. Didn't see anything towards the front of the field. Oh, well, that will definitely do it. I saw what it looked like from that angle. Let's see. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Dayoff had the run in the corner. Creighton kind of drifted up. Weird contact there. I mean, Dayoff puts his left side tires on the red line there. So I don't know that that move was fully on. Interesting contact nonetheless. Well, that's going to bring out another yellow. 7th caution, so I believe that's the 5th. I think we had those 2 delays, if I'm not mistaken, which will show another caution there on the pylon. But we are inside 25 laps to go. Business about to pick up. Two laps to go. Lights off on the pace car. We're starting to see it a little bit now. Patience is running out very quickly with these drivers. The blocks are going to get more aggressive. The side draft are going to get more aggressive. The runs are going to be bigger. We're seeing it now, but K&W's had control of most of this race. We'll see how that pans out as we get closer to the white flag and the checkered flag. Been working well together thus far, but I know all these drivers are hungry for a win. Mike's hungry for his first win, as is Chris. Green flag back in the air. Once again at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Bobby Grady gets a great jump there on the bottom. Kind of showing high for now, trying to slow down a little bit of the momentum that they have on the top line there. And judging by the trends of this race, if I'm anybody near the front, if I have an opportunity, I want to get down to the bottom. Obviously, you want to stick with your teammates, but the bottom is shown to be the preferred line here tonight. And that's where I want to be if I'm any of these guys. I think we got some contact up front. We do. Thomas Long around. into Hunter Jaw. Kyle Rogers, I believe, may have gotten some of that. Yeah, Dustin Bloodworth gets his nose there. You see Thomas Long kind of drifted up. Huge hit for Kyle Rogers. I didn't realize that hit was that bad, but yeah, it's kind of 2 instances in a row, and this is why it's really important to hold your line. You can see Bloodworth gets the momentum off the corner. Long leaves the door open, tries to shut it. Bloodworth has other plans. And I must admit, at this point in the race, if I'm Dustin Bloodworth, I'm probably making the same move. And unfortunately for Thomas Long, he's the one that ends up paying the price for it. But Kyle Rogers has another harsh hit. That might be his race over. I'm not sure if he still has a fast repair left in the bank or not. So 17 to go. We will be just around the 15 to go mark once we go back to green flag racing, and you can see it. Tensions are high. Things are picking up. John Happick's still stuck. 6 laps down. Definitely been a fun race to call up to this point. And shout out to everybody watching at home, supporting your friends and or family and teammates. If you're in here watching, let's try to do a little bit of a location roll call. Tell me where you're watching from. You could be as specific as what room you're in or city and state. Let's get a little bit of a roll call. See who's active in here tonight. Yeah, lights are off on the pace car. Now again, I'm gonna take you guys inside of my mind here, just based on the trend of this race. I mean, again, we've seen how strong the bottom line has been. You know, we've seen it up here in the booth. It may feel a little bit different out there on track for these guys because the amount of teamwork that's had, but I'm almost at a point where, barring teammates or not, I might want to be on the bottom here regardless. Shorter distance around the track. But again, we've seen the huge runs that the top side has been able to get here. So I was lucky enough to get a win here in the Xfinity Series by 0.00000. And I believe that was due to the bottom. You know, tied away around the circuit. Less distance for those cars and or trucks to go. Like I said, so far we've seen that hold true tonight. So I think if I'm Bobby Grady or Justin Nava even, Matthew Chase has made his way back up there as well. You know, obviously I don't want to bury myself 10th in line just to get to the bottom, but I think I definitely have my sights set on the bottom right here if I'm any one of these drivers. But they're definitely going to have to break these teammates up if they're going to want a chance to win this thing. That green flag in the air again. Bobby Grady gets a good start. Justin Nava does as well. But Chris gets a good launch on the outside. Both lines pretty even right now. Top line starting to roll just a little bit here, ever so slightly. And there we go. As I say that, they do clear down. Great teamwork out of those two. But again, I know Bobby Grady is not going to be content to sit behind him. But the problem is they do make them move to the outside, but that puts 4 teammates in a row on the bottom. Again, we'll see how that plays out as we get closer to the checkered flag. Justin Ava doing a great job shoving Bobby Grady down the backstretch. I'd really like to see these guys run tighter, though, to the bottom. I know we've had a couple calls of cautions off the exit of these corners, but if these guys can get a good side draft in the corner and really pinch the exit on the bottom line, that's going to kill some of that momentum that the bottom line is getting. And that's going to make it easier for the top to roll. Said I'd like to see them get a little bit tighter here. I know we still got 13 to go, but track position at this stage of the game is most important. See a little bit of movement out back, but everybody double file here. Everybody kind of gridlocked right now. If we're going to see any movement, it's going to be a mistake or a shot from the lead. Again, the middle of the pack kind of getting fanned out just a little bit, so that's going to leave for a little bit of awkward momentum shift. I see Patrick Camburn, Mike Kufel, and Chris Weiniger kind of drifting up there just a half a lane. This guy's trying to get as much air on the nose as they can. Got to be careful, though, with how they time these moves. We've seen it happen at Talladega. You time a move poorly, and that's 3 or 4 teammates that are gone. That's the one downside to working with teammates like this at a super speedway, is if one of you make a mistake, more often than not, it costs all of you. But we're going to be coming to 10 laps to go this time by. You can see Bobby Grady trying to pinch down Mike. Mike just working his way up the track ever so slightly. Cameron's got to be careful. He's getting to that left rear and the right rear of the 53. That can turn him very easily, especially with how these trucks unload in the quad oval. So that's definitely something that they do need to be careful of. Don't want to get too complacent, get too comfortable, because as soon as you do, that's when these mistakes starts to happen. A little bit of check up there on the bottom line. Camburn pushing Chris hard into the corner, staying on his bumper. Just goes to show you how comfortable these guys are with one another. Justin Nava, though, doing the same with Bobby Grady, trying to make a power move on the outside. They're going to need some help from Matthew Chase and Dustin Bloodworth, though. They're going to have to get tighter if they're going to want to have the momentum that this bottom line does. You see it on the backstretch. The top line does get that run. They're just not able to do anything with it right now. Justin Nava probably a little bit high. You see backs up, a little bit of contact on the front row. That's more than likely going to bring out another yellow. Justin Nava trying to hold on to it. And there it is. John Shields gets sent around. Bobby Grady back around. And I hate throwing this word around, but that looks like that could have been a little bit of net code up front. Nope, that angle. I don't know, that's weird contact. I mean, they're definitely, trucks definitely come together there, but it's kind of weird. I'll back it up a little bit, and you'll see contact between Camburn and Grady, but look at how Grady's truck ends up kind of getting slung around here. Like right here, you see Camburn drifting up. There's contact there, but then right there, the truck just kicks out. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of guys upset with K&W after this race, though. I know that is for sure. Matthew Chase, nowhere to go. Bloodworth gets into the back of him. He gets turned. It's like Bryce Tucker. A little bit of an accordion effect there, but we've seen it a couple times from these guys up front here in K&W where they are getting linked up as a foursome, but the guy that's second or third in line keeps drifting up and getting to the cars on the outside. We've seen that happen twice now. Some drivers potentially going to start losing patience with those guys, especially now down to crunch time. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to get back up to them to make them pay for it or not, but again, we saw it with Travis George. We're seeing it again with Patrick Camburn, just not holding their line on the bottom. I know that, you know, truck conditions are a little bit tight and or loose out there, but You just hate to see it. Let's see, now this is where it's going to get interesting. These K&W guys, again, they have to be careful. One, not to take each other out, but two, they're going to be two on the inside, two on the outside with... Looks like we'll be coming with 4 laps to go when we take the green flag. So gloves are going to be out. And if they're not careful, again, they could have contact and end all of their nights. Or, you know, if they're just not careful, if the run's happening behind them, it's a possibility that some of these other guys, like Justin Nava, I know he's involved in that, but Justin Nava, Andre Carvalho, Keen Fry, you know, if these guys are racing too hard up front, those guys might look to try to capitalize on that. Only time will tell. But as I mentioned just a moment ago, 5 laps to go. Going to be 4 coming to the line this time by. So here we go. Barring any late race calamity, which is definitely a possibility, we could be going green for the final time here in the penultimate race for the season championship that is on the line. Green flag going to be coming out here any moment now. Chris gets a good start. So does Patrick. Decent gap, though, between those guys in the second row. I mean, all 4, you could tell they're teammates, but those guys from 5th on back are going to get a run here. We'll see, again, what they elect to do with it. The bottom line right now, showing to be strong once again. Mike Kuffel going to give a big shot to Chris. Patrick trying to side draft. Travis George, though, going to the bottom line. That's going to kind of leave Patrick out there. Justin Nava close on the bumper of Travis George, but right now they're all back together. 4 in a line on the bottom. We'll see who elects to step out first. Three to go here. Still single file till about the 8th position. And we've got a yellow. Yeah, it looks like Thomas Long involved. He's not had a very fun night tonight. So you see Zachary Tyler gets the run, makes it 3 wide. They're leaning on each other, bouncing off of each other. I don't know if Rogers was upset at that move, or I'm not really sure what that was about. See Aaron Creighton on the bottom, Kyle Rogers up top. Zachary Tyler gets the run. I mean, he's definitely there. I don't know. We see a little bit of a twitch to the right from Zachary Tyler. Try to point it out right when it happens. So you see he's there. You see contact right there. You see Tyler starts moving to the right. They're fighting for the position. Rogers squeezes him down into Aaron Creighton. Nowhere to go for Aaron Creighton. And, you know, it's got to be said, that's very frustrating if you're the leaders in this pack. You know, with all due respect to those involved in that incident, you're up front, you know, leading laps, coming closer and closer to the white flag, and we're wrecking for, you know, 12th or 13th. It definitely can be frustrating. Luckily for the teammates, though, they're all still lined up 1, 2, 3, 4. A green-white checkered. So we will be going into overtime. And those who are not familiar with overtime, let me go ahead and tell you all about it. So these drivers will be having what is called a green-white checkered. So pace car will come off the pits. They will take the green flag. They will make a lap. The white flag will come out. Once the white flag comes out, they will have one more lap to go. So once the leader does see that white flag, they will be racing back to the line no matter what happens. So that there implies the green-white checkered again. The green flag will drop. They will make a lap. The white flag will come out. Once the white flag is out, they will complete one final lap to decide who is going to win it all. Round 19 here in the High Velocity Racing League Championship fight. Sean Happick does have, I believe, it pretty much locked down, but we'll try to take a look at these points and see. David Meacham scored second. He is not racing tonight. Travis George in the third place spot. He may be able to make up that gap. So these points are important for Travis George to try to get into second place. Bryce Tucker as well. I don't know if, well, Tucker and George are actually tied. So I believe points wise, Travis George has had the better night tonight, but there's definitely playoff implications with this race. I say playoffs, it's actually the old chase format here, so I apologize, but Sean Happick has an 87-point lead on the rest of the field. Travis George and Bryce Tucker both behind 118 points. But that gap definitely going to get closed with the issues that Sean Happick had here at the beginning of the race. Unfortunately, David Meacham did not make it with us tonight. He definitely could have tried to close that gap. This would have been a good opportunity to do so. Nonetheless, like I said, Travis George and Bryce Tucker are going to be fighting for potentially that second spot in the overall standings. Travis George, I believe, like I said just a minute ago, has had the better points day, so we'll see how that shakes out. But let's get back to it. Pace car off, going into the pits once again. 3 laps to go. Green-white checkered, attempt number 1 of 3. Chris Weiniger and Patrick Camber get a great start on the bottom. Mike Kuffel and Travis George behind just a little bit, but you can see once again all 4 of those guys leaving the rest of the field. Mike Kuffel and Travis George electing to get in line. Going to try to get a little bit of momentum. Keen Fry out on an island up on the top row, so it doesn't look like anything's going to be moving up front right now. Mike and Travis getting a big run. Mike's going to take the run. Travis going to go with him. Travis, though, not close to Mike. Not as close as he should be. That's going to put Justin Nava on the inside. Bryce Tucker going to look to poke on the outside. White flag here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chris Weiniger in the race lead. I know Mike and Chris are both very hungry for a win here. Chris has the shorter way around on the bottom side. We'll see what momentum we can get on the top line here. Mike Kuffel side drafting hard down the backstretch. Going to get a shot from Travis George going into turn 3. They're hard racing. They're racing tight. Patrick Camber keeping it close on the bumper of Chris Weiniger. No help for Mike Kuffel. Travis George seeking up, almost near contact. They're getting spun at the line. Mike Kuffel, I believe, is going to get second place. I believe Chris got it. Huge wreck at the line. We'll have to see how iRacing scores this one. Would you expect it to end any less at a super speedway? I wouldn't. I believe Chris Weiniger is your race leader, race winner here, excuse me. If I could hit the right button, that would be great. We're actually going to do this right here. I'm not really a fan of this angle, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust it and see what we're looking at here on the line. Oh, here we go. So this is coming off of turn 4. You see Justin Nava pushing Camburn hard. Camburn gets to the inside of Chris. They make contact. Nava gets a push that sends Camburn around. So Chris is going to be your race winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He's going to win it facing the pits. And yeah, I believe that Mike Kufel, Mike going to come in second. Patrick Camburn still scored in the 3rd place spot. Go ahead and grab a picture of that while we're here. And it looks like, as of right now, the official race results are going to hold true. So we will wait for our drivers. Need top 3 to the broadcast waiting room, please, when you get a moment. It looks like the official results right now as follows is going to be Chris Weiniger, Mike Kufel, and Patrick Camburn. If you could please report to the broadcast booth so we can get you for your post-race interviews. Hell of a race, hell of a finish, gentlemen. Yeah, so there it is right there. You see it on your screen now. This is what sums up our race here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll go ahead and get these up as well so you can take a look. Okay, and it looks like we do have our drivers ready for their interviews. Just waiting on Camburn. I don't know if I said Travis George by mistake or what. I'm not sure, but it looks like Patrick Camburn is scored in 3rd unless I'm seeing something different. All right, 10-4. We'll go ahead and proceed as follows, and if he hops in there, we'll grab him. All right, so it looks like you got some word. Patrick Camburn may have had to head off, but we will grab the number 9 of Mike Kufel. Another 2nd place finish for him here in the High Velocity Racing League. So he's getting ever so close to that elusive victory here. He's starting to turn into the Sheldon Creed of the Truck Series, but you guys had control of the whole race over there at K&W. We'll get into that here in just a moment, but I want to kind of talk to you there about your thought process. I don't disagree with anything you did, but we saw just how dominant the bottom line was here tonight, and I was wondering who was going to be the one to make the move on the outside, and ultimately you make it. You had a little bit of help from Travis there, and you are almost able to get the edge out victory there with some contact with your teammates on the inside row. But talk to us, man. Again, another P2 for you here late in the season. How does it feel?
Bittersweet. I'm super happy as a team and how great everything went, and I'm very happy for Chris for getting his first win. Selfishly, I wish I had gotten my first win tonight, but happy for him nonetheless. But yeah, as a team, it worked very well. And yes, the bottom line was dominant, but what I was noticing was every run that the Highline got, as soon as they started getting up front, I don't know if they were just feeling the dirty air more, because it was very obvious if you were the pusher, that dirty air really came into play if you had somebody on your inside or outside. But it seemed like they would let off a little bit more and not be so tucked up. So I knew that we could, but once we made the move to the outside, it seemed like Travis either lost a little bit of help initially, and then he finally got back up there to help give me a shot going. So I knew if we stayed connected, we could make the run. I wish this start finish line was a little more like Talladega, but it's not. But it was good. I wish I hadn't. I'd used a faster pair on lap 2. That was extremely unfortunate, and it was pretty dicey coming from the back. But all in all, as a team, the whole, I think all 4 of us finished in the top 5. So great night for the team.
Yeah, definitely a good points day. And yeah, from what it looked like up in the booth, the top line was able to carry the momentum, but yeah, it just seemed like there was a lot of disorganization there up top. A lot of guys not being able to hold as close as the guys on the bottom. And we kind of saw that play to the benefit of Chris and Patrick down there on the bottom. But all in all, you make the move, you get yourself another second place finish here. And of course, you would have loved to have got the victory, but again, as far as team points go, you guys had control of the whole race, and I think you definitely got the team points locked in after this race. So congratulations to all you guys for finishing the top 5 and for the points day that you had. And before we let you on out of here, man, to celebrate, how are you feeling and who do you want to thank?
Yeah, feels great to get another P2, and always want to thank the wife for holding down the fort downstairs while I'm taking care of this and hanging out with the Munchkins, and she's watching American Idol, so hopefully she's having a good night. But feels good and happy to be here, and thank you guys for doing the broadcast, and thanks to Kern for handling the race control, and hope everybody enjoyed the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad to have you. And that's your second place finisher, the number 9 of Mike Kufel. But now we bring on your race winner, the number 53. Chris, talk to us, man. You get a win here. You dominate the race with your teammates. Talk to you there earlier on in the race, and we get to talk to you again. How does it feel to get a victory here?
Unreal, man. So exciting. Proud of the team effort. We really got ourselves into position of controlling things there at the end. For all of us to finish in the top 5. Awesome night. So thrilled.
Yeah, and talked about it several times in the course of the broadcast. I was wondering how you guys were going to finish that race out. You were all 1, 2, 3, 4, and I was wondering who was going to be the one to make the first move. And Mike made the move on the outside with that run, and you were able to just edge him out there with some contact on the bottom. You crossed the line facing the pit road entrance, but it doesn't matter how you do it, you did it. So a lot of momentum for you and Mike here on the latter half of the season. Getting some higher place finishes. You guys have been solid all season, but looks like things are starting to come back around for you guys. And unfortunately, the time is out for this season, but the amount of momentum that you guys are getting here, what does this do for the confidence going into next season with how you guys have been able to perform, not only as a team, but individual drivers as well?
Oh, as starting off as a team, it's a huge confidence booster. You've already got Travis and Patrick that have reached the winner's circle. Mike is up next, definitely. No worries there. But individually, for myself, it just shoots this confidence to the sky. I've always felt good in the truck and doing hot laps, and it's just a matter of getting seat time and being able to race around the other trucks and understand what the truck's going to do if you're not out front, if you're in dirty air, and just getting accustomed to the other guys that are on the track. It's been a phenomenal season. I've had a blast with it, and this is just the cherry on top, being able to pull off a victory before the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you guys sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but control of the whole race, it works out well for not only you, but for the team as well. Obviously, you are the most beneficial guy there with coming away with a victory, but we've got one race left here in this season. Homestead, Miami. I don't know if you've raced there before, but if you have you done any practice, and how are you feeling about it?
Iffy on it. I have raced there. I have done some practice. Definitely going to take some more. It is a track that I've noticed, me personally, and how I drive, it will chew up the tires. So tire management for myself is going to be key at that track, and just being patient and letting it letting the race come to me. I think that'll be my game plan as of right now going into it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on getting your first win here in the series. It's been a pleasure having you, and I know that one's going to sting for Mike a little bit. He kind of convinces you to get the sim, and you end up getting a win before he does. So we might have some inner teammate turmoil, but you know, again, a good finish for everybody. Mike's able to finish on all fours. You get the win. Patrick Camburn, on the other hand, crosses the start finish line up in the air, shades of Clint Boyer. So, you know, all in all, a lot of things going on in the KW camp. But before we let you go, man, who do you want to shout out or thank?
Oh, first off, my wife and kids for dealing with me being up here so much, putting in practice and talking about it all the time. I'm sure they're tired of it, but I want to thank them. And then, of course, all my teammates putting in the practice and tossing out different tips and secrets that they've come up with in their own careers and just helping one another out. And finally, the league. I mean, you put in a ton of time for the league, and happy being the owner of the league. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I feel completely lucky to have found you guys. I mean, I got onto the platform last July. This is my first league, only league that I'm a part of, and can't be happier.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, like I said, glad to have you on board. Congrats again on the victory. That rounds out the post-race interviews here. We'll go over our unofficial results from the race. Again, we've talked to our top 2 place finishers here, and Chris Weiniger and Mike Kufel. Again, Patrick Camburn unable to make the post-race interview, but he rounds out your 3rd place spot. Just behind them, Justin Nava edges out a P4. He comes from the back of the field. Travis George in P5, Brandon Dayhoff and 6th, Bryce Tucker 7th, Bobby Grady 8th, Kean Fry 9th, and Zachary Tyler rounding out your top 10. It was a hell of a race to call up here in the booth. A lot of actions. We saw trucks upside down, sideways, up in the wall, down in the grass, everywhere. I think KT was completely perpendicular to the ground at one point. So a lot of action here tonight. But all in all, it was definitely a fun one to watch and to call. And the action is not completely over yet. We've got some more racing later this week. We have the final race in our Cup Series regular season. We've got a extended race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I lied. We are actually off this Friday for Memorial Day weekend. We got a little bit excited, but nonetheless, again, it was a hell of a race to call. Congrats on your podium finishers, and we will see you guys for some more racing and some more podcast action later on. Thanks to everybody that tuned in, supported your drivers, your family, and your friends, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.